Howdy, this is Robert Stewart from Loyal Yokefellow, and this is how I wrote my song, What's Your Favorite Color? So it started back in 2017 or so. I had come up with the first two lines of what is now the third verse. Her irises ignite aquamarine light. You know, it kind of sounded poetic and a little romantic. I liked the alliteration going on there. I think I had come up with some kind of chord progression or something to go with it, but I didn't really do anything else with it. I kind of just had those two lines and then just let it sit. So then flash forward to 2020. In August, I started coming up with what would be the chorus. What's your favorite color? Oh, what's your favorite? What's your favorite color? So that right there, pretty much how I wanted it to be. Came out, I guess, somewhat fully formed there. Then from there, March of 2021, so close to a whole year later, this is just a process. A lot of times, for me at least on songs, is I kind of come up with stuff here and there and I think it's good, but then I kind of don't know where to go with it, so I let it sit. But I came up with the chord progression for the verse. So like right there, I had those chords and kind of just messing around with, you know, how's the melody gonna fit and everything. These are the chords just by themselves. So came up with that chord progression. It was kind of dark and mysterious, a little bit contemplative, I guess. So I like that, and like I said, just started kind of messing around with what the lyric was gonna be. I knew I had those lyrics from several years before that I was gonna try to fit on top of it. I wanted to keep that sort of alliteration thing going. So for the pre-chorus part, I just kind of knew that I wanted like a big build between the verse and chorus. So I actually had some of that chord progression from something else that I had kind of written recently that didn't really go anywhere. So I just took what I had there and put it in this song right here. That little spicy little chord is kind of inspired by Stevie Ray Vaughan a little bit. It's just what the sharp 9 chord basically there that, you know, Jimi Hendrix used a lot and stuff, and Stevie Ray Vaughan used all over the place, and it kind of has that little funky rhythm to it. So I like that. On the verse, you know, I liked the chord progression, but it seemed a little bit too dark to be like that for the whole song. So I reworked the voicings on the chords to be a little bit brighter, a little bit funkier. It's the same chords, but just voiced differently, up higher on the neck, and I kind of gave it the little melody line on the very top. Do, 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 like that whole thing. So the part right into the solo, I have no idea where it came from. It just kind of popped in my head and sounded cool. It doesn't really do that anywhere else in the song. And, you know, I kind of like to do that. Music, you know, there's lots of repetition, obviously, but I always like to add, you know, something in there that just does it once. That way, you know, it kind of gives you maybe another reason to go back and listen, because you're like, that part was really cool and only happened once, so you got to like kind of listen to the whole song to just hear that one section or whatever. I'm always trying to find those moments where, you know, something happens, something pops out while you're just playing that grabs your attention. So this part right here, the whole melody of it just kind of came to me. So on the solo part, it has that, you know, nice little build up, do 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 do, kind of an epic string type of thing there. And then I wanted the solo to be, you know, kind of like its own little journey. So each chord is kind of like jarring. They're kind of outside the key and stuff like that. It has a little modulation and lifts, and then, you know, it kind of takes you to a bunch of different places. The other thing was on the verse, after having the melody idea and that sitting over the chords, so the melody and the chords both have kind of some dissonant intervals in there. It goes to like a tritone. And so I wanted the arrangement of everything to kind of build and be a little bit stronger around those particular notes. Otherwise, they do kind of weaken the whole chord structure and everything. So I worked out a way to incorporate the melody into the voicings of the chords that I'm playing.
Hands clasped in candlelight, bewitched by bursts of bright, and this could be the night our destinies to find.
I had originally come up with a different sort of melody on the guitar and stuff that I thought sounded cool. But, you know, and this is something I've learned sort of over time with writing and everything, is that honestly, a lot of times you try to, you know, add some sort of levels of sophistication and stuff, and maybe have like some counter melodies and stuff like that. But with the counter melodies, you have to be really careful that they don't clash, right? Because like something that can sounds cool on its own isn't going to sound good with, you know, something else that also sounds cool on its own, because they end up clashing. So a lot of times, you know, the best way to approach that is just play the same thing, right? So that's exactly what I did here, to just, again, reinforce that main melody. And then it opens up the song like that with that really sort of dark sound that I wanted, you know, kind of dark and mysterious at the beginning. Then builds into that second verse, which is, you know, sort of the more funky part. And yeah, I mean, I like songs that take you on a journey. That's just generally how I write. It's just part of how I do it. I don't know why, I just do. So that is how I wrote the song, What's Your Favorite Color? Be sure to check it out anywhere you stream music. And I also have my website, loyalyokefellow.com, where you can buy a CD. I got some cool shirts on there as well. Thanks for watching.